first man I will date will be the man that will be my husband.
Look at some certain things. Will I be able to spend the rest of my life with him?
Hello guys, this is Decision Line with Yemi Johnson Ebo. It's another wonderful season. We thank all our followers and viewers for following us on the last season, where we discussed extensively on the concept of romance. And as God will have it, on this season, like I said in our introductory video, that we'll be looking at the concept of dating. And I want to believe there is a very clear transition between the word romance and dating. And you agree with me that on Decision Line, we are focused on looking at our ability to make decisions as far as relationship is concerned on a general note. And by the grace of God, on this season, I won't be doing it alone. We have guests who will be coming in at every point, at every interval, to dissect and discuss issues relating to dating, issues relating to dating in relationship. So, with me on this episode of this new season is a wonderful personality, somebody I love so much and I cherish her very well, I celebrate her very well, is by name Sister Olapeju OKUNAIYA Shadiat, like she likes to call herself. She would be helping us to talk from our own point of view and our experience on what it is, what dating is really concerned about as far as she's concerned. And also to join her on this same episode is a wonderful brother I love so much and I celebrate very well, a father and a husband. I call him Pastor, but permit me for the sake of this talk show, I call him Mr. Bayo Shotanmide, if I am right. So please join us on this ride as we dissect the concept of dating. Mr. Bayo, you're welcome. Sister Peju, you're welcome. I'm very, very happy and we're glad to have you on the show. Without wasting much of our time, we'd like to go into the business of the day very quickly. So to start with, I'd like to get from your own point of view, Mr. Bayo, what do you really understand by that word dating?
All right, thank you very much. To me, dating is a stage of romantic relationship in humans, and it's a situation whereby two persons are actually coming together to relate, to communicate and do things together in such a way that they want to ascertain if they are really, really meant for each other. So, generally speaking, it's a kind of trying to check if something will work. So it's not necessarily an intimate relationship yet. It's a romantic relationship where you just want to try everything possible to see if things can work, and then thereafter you can now become intimate.
Okay,
thank you.
That is a wonderful one. And from the definition you give us, before I go to Sister Peju, you told us that it's a time where we just come to check if something will work, and that's obviously between two people who actually, to an extent, if I am right, having some kind of feelings for each other. I don't know. From the context where you're coming from, I deduce that dating is not in any way spiritual. It's more or less a kind of physical thing, that's a normal thing that you don't actually have to kneel down, pray, and say, okay, I want to go on a date with this person. God, should I do that? Do you understand? Now, how do we strike a balance between the word dating and courtship from what you just said now?
In just a nutshell, the feeling is where the controversy comes in. Okay. And so if the feeling part of it can be clarified, if it is positive, I've seen some people go into dating because of what people will say. I've seen people go into dating just to try life because they believe by the time they go into real courtship and they're probably getting married, they believe they are caged for life. So they want to try everything. So where to strike the balance, and I think we'll be able to talk more about that, is what is the intention? What is the motive?
Okay.
What's the feeling you are having towards that person?
Okay.
That is now making you to say, okay, let's go into dating.
Okay.
And
All
that's
right.
where you...
Sister Akujo, I believe you have something to put into this. What's your take on dating, and what should be done in dating? Talking about dating, when you say I'm going on a date, what exactly are the components of dating? What am I expected to do? What are those two parties expected to do as far as dating is concerned?
All right, thank you very much. Just like Mr. Bayo rightly said, when you talk about dating, it's just like a stage. To me, I feel dating is like an assessment stage. You know, when you're in school, as a student, you're expected to go through classes, and at the end of the class, you're expected to write an examination, which is like a form of assessment to know whether you're going to move into the next class or not. So to me, I feel dating is like assessing one another to see the suitability of each other being one party or both parties being a prospective partner.
Okay.
So when you're going on a dating, there are so many things that you should put in mind. And one of those things is defining the relationship. As in, you need to define what and when or how you want the whole thing to be. Because to me, I feel dating is a social activities that involves a lot of social activities where you just hang out, you talk about things and see whether you two are compatible before you move to the next level. So that was why I said dating actually is an assessment stage.
You said something about moving to the next level. I want us to clear it now, because earlier on I asked Mr. Bayo a question about striking the balance between dating and courtship, and there was something we said about the fact that dating is actually not a spiritual word. Frankly speaking, it's not spiritual. But you know, for us to strike a balance between the outside world and the church, there are some things we need to consider, some factors we need to consider. I like the fact that you mentioned the word defining the relationship when you meet. I think majorly in our romance season, we look at stages of romance, of which in my research I discovered that dating too has stages, which we'll come to later on. But what I'm trying to talk about now, I want us to really lay emphasis on is the fact that how do we strike that balance now? How do we strike that balance that will make it easy for youth in the church to understand the actual meaning of dating, what should be done in dating, and how to relate it with courtship. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. How to relate dating and courtship. How do we relate these two words? Because if you check the dictionary meaning of courtship and the dictionary meaning of dating, as much as dating is not considered to be spiritual, but courtship is considered to be a spiritual word that we use oftentimes even in the church. So how do we strike a balance between these two words? Because like up to 95% of the meaning of these two words are closely related. So any one of you is free to answer my question at this point.
Okay, to me, I feel one of these, as in the step we need to take, is for our leaders to have a clear enlightenment about what dating is all about. Because if as a leader you don't have a clear understanding or a clear picture of what dating is, even your followers wouldn't have the same thing. So by the time you see two young people going out on a date, because of the way we term it as the word courtship, they make it look as if they are being unspiritual. Permit me to use that word, like of the word. And they're forgetting the fact that in the world that we are in today, as in majority of our youth, like 95% of our youth, they're actually in the church, but they have one leg in and one leg out. So they want to bring in whatever experience they had on the outside world, they want to bring it into the church. So a clear picture of what dating is should be one of the major criteria for us to have an understanding. We need to have that understanding, that deepest understanding of what the word dating is, and it will help us to strike a balance between dating and courtship.
I'm happy you're coming up with that, having a good knowledge of what dating means. So we'll be able, at least, so having that knowledge will help us to strike that balance. Mr. Bayo, in just a few seconds, what do you have to say on this striking balance thing?
All right. Like it is said, it begins with you.
Okay.
It takes two to tango. So if you're going into a date or dating, into a relationship, you get it right first. Personally, when I wanted to start, before I got married, I've had reasons to think about going into a relationship. But I can tell you categorically that it started and ends with me because I knew I was not ready.
Okay.
So let it begin with you first. Get it right. Why do I need it now? Do I need to start now? If I start, will I be able to sustain it?
Okay.
When you get it right, it will be easier for you to also have, your that dating process easy. Although, like you said, it's not a spiritual thing, but probably we can now strike a balance and see, remove the excesses in dating, and then, let's see how we can make it easy for us as young ones.
Thank you very much for that wonderful contribution. Guys, I know you are enjoying what you're hearing at the moment, and the discussion is getting intense and serious as we are going on. But very quickly, we would like to still go further. But before then, I'd like you to follow us if you want to enjoy. Follow all our social media platforms and get a glimpse. In fact, follow everything that we're talking about and be part of this show. Be part of Decision Line fully and get it right as far as decision making is concerned in relationship. Don't forget, we're looking at dating, the concept of dating on this season.